What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Esukasa. And of course, as always, I'm your humble host, Niko House. Today, I have a very special guest with me, returning for a second time. Actually, the last time he was here was relatively close to this time last year, with some good news. And it seems like this year we also have some more good news, at least involving Rokfin. And this is the founder of Rokfin and also the founder of Flow Sports, Martin Floreani. Thanks for returning, Martin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Nico. How are you doing?
I'm, doing about as well as can be expected. And I must admit, as a Rockfin creator, things could be a lot worse. But because of Rockfin, things have been a little bit good. We're able to survive now. I'd say a lot of us Rockfin creators are making more on Rockfin now than I could have ever hoped to make on YouTube, thanks to the work of you and your team.
Well, yeah, that is our vision is, well, hopefully not just survive, but thrive, right? And so you can kind of think about the creative elements. The way we look at channels is really as partners. And when they're succeeding, we're succeeding. And so we love to get invested in them and then try and figure out ways where they can thrive and help make that happen.
So, first, kind of like let everybody know what Rockfin is. We talked about it a lot on this channel, but I'm sure there are a lot of new people here that are curious as to what the alternatives are of YouTube, especially given all of this recent censorship that we've arbitrary at that censorship that we've been seeing from big tech over the last week or so.
Yeah, so Rockfin really takes a totally different model than your traditional big tech. Big tech is really fundamentally driven by advertising-based model. Rockfin takes a subscription-based model. You could kind of think of it like another form of Patreon, but the different dynamic here is by when a subscriber signs on to Rockfin, they pay $10 a month. They get access to every single channel on the platform, and that's really powerful for the channels because in media there's just this power component of bundling. When you can bundle the right content together, that's going to unlock value to that person's fans. More of those people are going to sign up. Like what we've seen is 100% more, 120% more of those people sign up, and they're willing to pay more by bundling your content properly. So it's a bundling in media is magic. That people always say it's like the power of bundling in media is extraordinary. And so that's what we unlock with channels like yourself and other channels.
And speaking of bundling, I know when we started, I wouldn't say I was a smaller channel, but it was about a medium-sized YouTube channel, and we went over to Rockfin, and the Convo Couch is on there. We had a few pretty good sized, decent sized leftists and a few decent sized conservative channels, but now you've brought on people since like Kim Iverson, Jimmy Dore, Harlan's Media, and it seems like people, the creators, are finally beginning to wake up and see like YouTube is, in my opinion, it's a failed business model, maybe not on their part, but for creators, because basically we experience burnout so often, and we feel like the return is not only not enough, but also it can be affected negatively at any time, even if you're doing everything right. So just speak a little bit about some of the new people that you've brought on, and their experiences with Rockfin so far.
You're kind of talking why YouTube can do that to channels is because they own the customers, right? And so in that sense is when you create a channel and have a subscription following on YouTube, you don't get access to those people's contact information,
Mm-hmm.
right? So YouTube holds a lot of leverage over each one of the channels because they say, no, 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 these are actually our customers, even though you built that channel, even though without any of the channels, YouTube is nothing. Right. And so that's the dynamic. YouTube is a prime example of someone who's a massive beneficiary of network effects, right? Where they are angels when the network is starting on because they're trying to get everybody onto the network. But as the network grows and grows exponential in value, they get unprecedented leverage, not because of typical normal business forces, but because of network effects. And network effects are extraordinarily powerful dynamic force in business. And so
Facebook did the same thing. They used the same model. They were like angels at first, and then
yeah.
they started taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they can do that from a business perspective because there's so many things that are keeping you on the network, right? It's like, well, shoot, all my customers are there. I told everyone to go there. Now they have the channel, and I don't have any of the information. And so, so it's a pretty dark dynamic for channels, and people don't understand the math behind it. And I look at the math. I love numbers, and so I look at the math behind it. But they have a feeling behind it, like something's not right. And, until you actually look at the math, which around why they're able to do what they're able to do, it can be kind of maddening. So, Rokfin, we think of ourselves as a solution to that. Each channel gets a stake in the network in terms of when they're working. And that gives more incentive for channels to be able to actually break the mold of YouTube. They're able to break the forces that are keeping them there and saying, you know what, I'm earning 10x more on Rokfin.
Quite literally. That is not hyperbole, people, by the way. Literally doing 10 times more on Rokfin. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people, and it's not just Rokfin. We've had some channels that were, lifestyle businesses earning less than $20,000 a year, just kind of have this website on the side. Now they're able to actually point hundreds of thousands, if not, and accrue millions of dollars of value over 18 months, 24 months, right? And so it's really taking these powerful forces that have worked for YouTube, kind of repackaging it in a different format and able to distribute it back to creators in a way that allows them to be the beneficiaries of network effects.
So I know that there seem to be basically two main components, or I would say even three, but the third kind of like blends in. So there's like the sports side of Rokfin, and then there's the politics side of Rokfin. Have you seen, has there been like pretty much mutually beneficial outcomes for both sides? Obviously, I think sports has somewhat of an advantage. I would say that it's way better to be on Rokfin for sports people than YouTube, because the CPM for sports is very low because it's a very specific niche.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of success in sports. Small little media entities that are now being able to grow and reinvest in their product because of this new economic model. So yeah, for sure, we're seeing a lot of success. We're seeing a lot of success with politics. Obviously, politics are hot right now, right? I mean, there's no two ways about it. And then we're also seeing some, we're even seeing stuff like on spirituality, like Sam Tripoli's got a show on spirituality that really has taken off. So just it really is all different types of genres, and we look to expand the growing list of genres that are on Rokfin.
So talk about this new tipping feature. I remember last time we talked, that was actually something that we had discussed. Just like that, if when you all get that super chat feature, that you think that there will be like an exponential increase in participation, maybe even seeing an increase on the amount of videos produced on Rokfin. And so far, at least from my end, the tipping feature has been pretty successful. What has been the general feedback that you've seen on your end?
Yeah, it's been great. It's we're obsessed with the model to make it work for specific channels, and we're obsessed with that because we know if we provide value to these channels, more great channels will come. That'll make the bundle stronger. It'll make a more compelling case for customers to come onto the platform, which will in turn attract more channels to come on. So it becomes this great virtuous cycle. So our customer is really the content creator, the media company. It's you. That's who we think of as the people we are really serving. Now, of course, we're serving your customers and making sure that they have a great experience on the platform, have the right feature set, right, to consume your content. But yeah, the tipping feature has been great, and it's really distinctly different is because a lot of, again, the YouTubes are so focused on advertising. That is their crown jewel. You do not put product features in front of your crown jewel. Well, for us, we don't have that orthodoxy. Our orthodoxy is just what is ever better for the channel. And so that allows us to open up. And so we are trying to put that tipping feature forward more because it's really starting to mount to more and more value for these channels, right? And we just launched it, right? So
a month and a half ago, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see some of the tips that you've been getting and other people have been getting. It's just this extra nice source of revenue that's starting to come in for these folks. And we look to be adding more dynamic components to that tipping feature. But yeah, it's been great. It's a great reinforcement. It's also just probably nice to get those messages with a couple bucks.
Yeah, and I see people are a lot more encouraged. Especially because like whenever someone tips and sends a message or a comment on the channel, we get that in a text message, and so that allows us to then engage with whoever are who's commenting on our channel. And I think it just increases the overall experience. Now, tipping is seemingly, I don't know if it's like just a correlation or causal thing, but it's correlated at least with this crazy boom with Ray. And I know that like a lot of cryptocurrencies have been doing very well, Ethereum in particular, obviously Bitcoin too. But even still, I think that for the first time, I mean, last time we talked, because of different circumstances, I think Ray was probably like 60 or 70 cents. Now it's, it could fluctuate on a given day between $4 and almost $5. And that seems to coincide with this new tipping feature. Do you think that these extra features that you've made available on Rokfin have something to do with the recent success of the Ray token?
Yeah, so I mean, for those people who don't know, I don't know who doesn't know, but each of our channels get paid in Ray token, and the reason they get paid in Ray token is because we think cash doesn't work as a good financial vehicle to pay content creators, and we think stock is a really poor compensation vehicle for channels. So so we've created Ray token, which is basically a new financial vehicle that captures the full value anytime a subscriber comes onto the network. And it allows channels like yourself to cash out on a daily basis or to keep their stake in the network, right? And to keep their value and say, hey, you know what, I want to participate a little bit more. I want to keep my stake in the network moving forward. And so that's the Ray token. The reasons it's going up, there's probably a million different reasons why it's going up. So I don't necessarily know it's related to anything, any tipping or anything like that. It's just people seem to see that there's value in the Ray token, and to be frank, we're big holders of Ray token, and we think there's value in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the ones I saw early on, just because of the subscriber feature. So for new creators who are thinking about joining Rokfin, I always describe it to them it's like a Netflix for content creators, but for truly independent content creators. And it's like, but if that content creator on Netflix, for example, got to own a share of Netflix when it got started, basically. And I invested in, we would get paid in Ray token, but I would also invest in it because I felt very confident about just Rokfin's ability to grow, and just having a dollar value attached to the Ray token, right? Where people aren't incentivized to sell it off, because like some of that dollar value is not just attached to buying Ray token, but a lot of it is literally subscribers paying a certain amount every single month in order to get premium content. So now they're getting a service for the dollar value that they're attaching to their to the token that would be in this case the Ray token. And seemingly it's really proven to be a very stable model, and I'm not sure that we've seen another model like this so far with this amount of success. And I feel like it could be something that people are probably going to try to model after in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Rokfin is, if you kind of strip back as a subscription content platform, if you kind of even strip back further, it's a marketplace. And it's a marketplace network, marketplace digital network. And in a marketplace digital network, you have suppliers, there's entities that provide value, and then you have the platform sits in the middle, and then you have consumers, and the customers, essentially, who are consuming the sources. And so a good marketplace wants, high activity between the suppliers and the consumers. So like Rokfin is a content subscription marketplace. I would say, you look at Airbnb, they provide homes for people that want to rent homes. So you look at Uber, they provide transportation for people who want to go from point A to point B. Those are also examples of marketplaces. Well, just like I would say channels and creators like yourself and media companies have been really stripped of the value. They've been commoditized ruthlessly by the platform. However, without their existence, there is no platform. So individually, they have no leverage. right? But because the platform owns all the data, they can say, okay, Niko, you don't want to play by our rules. Well, we're going to give something else to somebody else. So we're going to get, we're going to start distributing your audience over here. Oh, and by the way, we still have all your customers, because they're not really your customers. They're our customers.
They effectively hold people hostage.
They hold people hostage, and they ruthlessly try to commoditize, because that's in their best financial interest. Okay. And so what happens then is it becomes a race to the bottom for all suppliers. I mean, so at first they might pay you more than your fair share, but over time they're going to work to commoditize you.
And that's what happened. Yeah. Everybody I know that, like, when they initially get monetized and when they get that first big, algorithm boost, they have a very high CPM, but eventually people forget they only get so many ads sold to them every month. And then with channels like Wall Street Journal, for example, I found out they have a $70 CPM. So if we're doing the same niche, they get paid $70 per 1,000 views. That's not enough money left over for somebody like myself.
Yeah.
And they were to come up with whatever excuse they can to demonetize at that point.
They'll do all that behind closed doors. So they hold all the cards. You have no idea the reasons why you're doing it. They're doing it. And you just get what you get, and you shut up. And if you don't like it, hit the road, right? Yeah. But in the you built their audience. You contributed to their platform, and they're holding your value kind of hostage. Well, Rokfin, we through this Ray ecosystem mechanism, you get distribute your value from the Ray ecosystem, and you get all your full value up front. Mm-hmm. So if you were to leave tomorrow, there's nothing. You take your data with you. You take the value you've earned with you, and you can go somewhere else, and we can't, there's nothing that we can do about it. And we like that model better, because by giving you more autonomy and acting what we think is appropriately, we're going to attract more great creators, and our marketplace network is going to grow. Going back to the market, the marketplace aspect of it is yes, absolutely. This Ray token is a new financial vehicle to reward for value on marketplaces. And these financial vehicles are 100% needed in our society, because ultimately the creators, the people that are making the content, the people that are making the things that are sold on eBay or Amazon, the people that are actually doing the work of driving the person from point A to point B, the person that's renting their house, those people should not be commoditized. Yeah. They should get their full value that they bring to the platform. And in so doing, we're going to live in a better society. Why? Because then those people can invest in their product. They can get creative. They don't have to be working themselves to the bone to try and make it work. And so that's essentially the full value that we've brought. We've invested a lot in IP and in developing all sorts of IP around this methodology, because it's a whole order of magnitude improvement on the current marketplace dynamic.
Yeah, I would also say that the way that you all, because I wouldn't call it algorithm manipulation, because I feel like that's not even the right term, but basically y'all allow your algorithm to let the cream rise to the top, so to speak, whereas YouTube tends to, once again, they push the content that is quote unquote making them money or quote unquote better for their advertisers, which that content, because that means they're not working really for the content creators anymore, right? They're working for the advertisers instead. And at that point, creators and, in my opinion, the people looking for content are both hurt. And I just speaking for myself, I know on Rokfin, we have 10,600 followers on Rokfin and about 120 or so subscribers. Now, the journey on Rokfin is a little bit different, because right now I'm already at a quarter of what I have on YouTube, right? So I have 43 or 44. Well, I think 45,000 viewers on YouTube. But we're already doing better financially on Rokfin. People seem to enjoy their engagement on Rokfin more. They don't feel like they're being censored even. And this is without y'all don't even have an Android app yet. That's what's crazy to me, right? Y'all haven't even gotten hitting your full stride yet. And yet we see all the benefits that have come with just having Rokfin there, and like I said, and just some of the people that y'all have attracted so far.
Yeah. So, and what's I think is eye-opening is when you realize that you're not getting a percentage of the $10, you're getting a multiple of the $10.
Yeah. per month.
That
Yeah,
you're
that's
not
the
getting,
yeah.
you're getting when someone signs up, you're getting a whole lot more than just even that value, because people are looking at the network and they're realizing, man, there's this extra utility for this token and it's scarce. And so you're getting your full value that you're bringing to the network, which isn't just the subscriber. When Niko House comes on, and what suppliers need to understand is that platforms need these suppliers, and they really need them in the early stages of the network. And so the first people on Airbnb aren't just worth the cash that they're bringing to Airbnb, because as there's more suppliers on the network, they're going to attract more customers, and then more other suppliers are going to come onto the network. And that's what you need to make these marketplace networks work, right? So your value, Niko, to the Ray ecosystem isn't just the customers you bring in, it's the fact that you're there and your experience is going to attract other suppliers. And so it grows that way. And so it's the Ray network, and the compensation method takes that into account and delivers it back to people like you. And then you talk about it, and I'm on your show, and then other great suppliers come on, and it keeps on building, and everybody wins.
And it protects our craft, right? At the end of the day, I do what I do because I love to do it. And I'm just very, very fortunate to be in a position to be able to do what I love to do and pay my bills simultaneously. And I think that that's an important part, because what we're seeing now over the last week, there have been a lot of censorship. I mean, somebody's business, regardless of how you feel about Parler, somebody's business just took a hit this week,
Yeah.
where it should have been the most popular week for that particular business. And if you ask me, it took unfair market circumstances to hurt them like that. But that's one of the reasons why I like Rokfin so much, because a lot of us have seen this coming. We've been talking about this for the entire time I've been on Rokfin. We're like, we knew this was coming. And so from your perspective as a person who is running a tech company, two of them that you've run so far, what is it like? What is your take on the censorship that we've seen thus far, and why is it so important to have alternatives like right now? That should have really been started a couple of years ago, but just your ability to have the foresight to see what was coming.
So it gives me chills, just probably like you, because one of the most powerful components that I see, that I think about, and I was just talking about this with one of our teammates that I was talking about, is like one of the most powerful aspects of doing work is curiosity, like kind of being curious. And when you're curious, you're spitballing, you're throwing ideas, and you really want a safe environment to talk. You want a safe environment to discuss. You want a safe environment to think things through. And you have to understand that people are wrong. People are right. But when you put this totalitarian kind of things like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, it has these other negative ramifications. And you talked about advertising. That's why I really don't like the advertising model, is because it starts to get in the way of the craft. You think, well, if I say this about, X, then will the advertisers not like that because their interests are Y, right?
Or even YouTube just not like it because where they don't take the chance. They just demonetize without even asking the advertiser.
You don't even want to take the chance, but you got to be able to fail in business. You got to be able to fail. Maybe there's a different dynamic with journalism, right? You want to be accurate. You don't want to be irresponsible. But I just think artists in general are always taking chances, and there's an art form to journalism. Now, is it the same thing as complete arts? No, of course not. But I really think they make society a worse off place if you want to start regulating speech that aggressively. And I think that obviously it happened on the conservative side, and we have more probably populist left is how I'd characterize it. Like on Rokfin platform, we have a couple conservatives. They're coming. It ain't gonna stop with the conservatives.
Yep, facts.
Right, and they're gonna come for you. They're gonna be coming for Convo Couch. They're coming for.
They already came for us. They already came for Convo Couch. They came for us before. They regularly come for the Convo Couch. They've been suspended off of YouTube. I don't know how many times. The Last American Vagabond, who's also on Rokfin.
that though. I don't think people realize that, right?
They
And
don't.
so that to me is they just think, oh yeah, they're censoring this, that. But like more and more people, I think people are starting to get hip to it. Obviously, your audience is completely do it, but like the mainstream people are starting to realize, okay, wait, what's going on here? But I hope anyway.
There have been
But
channels taken down. There have been Twitter. So this Twitter account that's literally dedicated to organizing for homeless people and rent control, and they do a bunch of direct action in LA. They got taken down. Like Facebook groups. This called Progressive Party. Is a Facebook group, had like 10,000 or 20,000 people. Years to build that up. Taken down completely without even warning. Ron Paul was suspended from his account on Facebook.
Ron Paul's a good dude. I don't give a shit if you don't think his politics X, Y, and Z. Like the guy seems like a really good dude, right?
Yeah,
like,
and he actually works for a network. So it's not even like it was like arbitrary. Like you're suspending the account of a person who works for a network. And with unilaterally, without going through in what I would consider to be the correct channels, which would be going through the judiciary, because you're messing with someone's business. That's and they are trying to get around that aspect with this censorship that we're seeing. But at the end of the day, like I know people think of Parler as like this community, but like at the same time, there's a business there, and then people who are on there have businesses that they're using to promote, and then there are people on Twitter who have businesses that they're trying to promote and personal brands that they're trying to promote. And when you just arbitrarily take down, I mean, people don't have no idea. Like they think people just wake up with thousands and thousands of followers and subscribers. No, that's not how it works. There's time and effort that's put into that, and when you censor somebody, especially without going through the proper channel, because it's not like I believe everybody should be able to say what the hell they want to without ramification all the time. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is if there is a belief that somebody has violated the First Amendment with their speech and taken advantage of it, then there are proper ways to deal with that don't involve a big tech company unilaterally deciding in a response to government officials to take people's channels down, take people's apps down, and basically just set the precedent that if we consider anything you say to be against our narrative, then we're going to take you out, and we don't really care what side of the team what team you play for.
Yeah, I think the narrative was broken too with the Parler, because it was like, okay, if you don't like that app, go somewhere else. But then all of a sudden, there's a prime spark where that happens, and then a whole bunch of big tech work in coordination to shut down Parler. So then it's like really actually no, it isn't as simple as just go and do it over here, because and I would equate it to really. It is, I mean, this has been said a lot, but in this day and age, in terms of the communication, in terms of it's a really national security component to it. Is like it is like having telephone lines, right? Like, I mean, it is like the equivalent. It is that part of our life where if AT&T can just say, hey, we're going to shut someone's phone down because we don't like their opinion, or we're going to shut down their ability to communicate with others. That's problem. We would all agree that that's problematic, and we don't want that world, right? And so it is getting to that point where it's like, okay, you had that one argument where Parler could, everyone could go to Parler, and then there was a moment where it was like, okay, maybe all the conservatives are going to go to Parler, and then it's shut down in 5 different other ways. It's like, no, that's not, then that's not really, it's not even what you were saying, right? It's like, okay, it's it's really more of a smokescreen. So yeah, I'm there with you. I don't think, I think it scares me. I think it scares people on the left. I think it scares people on the right. I think it scares the world a little bit about what's going on, and it's creating additional anxiety.
The leaders from other countries have even spoken out. Some that would consider themselves to be like liberal, even they're like outright disagreeing with the way, because you gotta think about it. It's not like Twitter or Twitter and Facebook both. It's not like they're the largest tech companies or social media companies in the country, right? So it's the world. They're controlling the entire world's discourse, and by regardless of how you feel about Trump, like by just making a decision, by the way, that didn't even make any sense, because even the reason they gave was they said because he said he wasn't going to go to the inauguration, so they permanently banned him from everything, even though Biden said that was a good idea. So now you're positioning yourself. So now you look like, okay, there must be some ulterior motive, because that doesn't make any sense. And in the entire world now we don't know what's going on or how to move or what to think, and because Trump is kind of the president, but not really, and like it's just weird. And then we saw, just on the politics side, regardless of how you feel about Biden, even the Hunter Biden situation, if that was a Donald Trump Jr. If that was if Levy Sanders from Bernie Sanders' son, if that was anyone else's son, it would have been all over the news nonstop, and we would have been allowed to cover it, and Twitter wouldn't have banned it. But yet, and still, we saw another situation where a mainstream media outlet was censored. We can't, in my opinion, we can't have that and be a functioning society. There's no way. People. So somebody asked me, two people actually now. They said, do y'all have any room for programmers or software engineers? Is there somewhere for people to apply?
You can hit me up. Yeah, I mean, programmers. We love good programmers. Yeah, definitely. Why don't you hit up?
Shoot me an email and I'll link you guys up with Martin.
Yeah, that'd be good.
With your resume, yeah, don't be just sending me no smiley face and saying hook a brother up. Like I need a resume. Don't be wasting. Well, don't waste my man's time.
You guys use resumes? We don't really.
At least I need something more than I use Microsoft Word pretty daily. Like he's not trying to teach y'all how to program. Just letting y'all know. Just apply. So really quick, I want to wrap up. I know you're a busy man. Do you have any final words for people who are leaning one way or the other from either joining Rokfin as a creator or joining Rokfin as a viewer?
Well, joining Rokfin as a viewer, it's like, just do it if you like good content. I mean, that's a whole concept. And if you're a channel and you create great content and you have the means to market that content, you're going to do well. And you don't have to ask me. You can talk to other different channels out there that are doing it. You're going to do well. And we look at them as our customers. We're here to serve you. We're here to serve you, Niko. We're here to serve all the different channels on the platform, so you guys can get your full value. So we can all unlock the value of the marketplace network that we're building together, right? So, I would say just do what you want to do. I'm not even here to sell it. I'm just here to say if you have good stuff and you want to make 10x more, then that might work. Depending on different circumstances. And then the same thing on the consumer side. Like if you don't think the content's good, don't sign up. If you think the content's awesome, sign up and do that. So it's that's the deal.
Y'all are also good y'all are also good about making sure that the programs that the content viewers like are regularly featured, and that the people who do invest by endorsing a channel, that they are getting a guaranteed show exclusively for them every week or so. Like that's also something I think that YouTube gives that option, but in my opinion, there's not much incentive to do that on YouTube as much. But on Rokfin, because of the amount of, like, once again, just bundled, not just content creators, but a bundle of content creators with similar views, but maybe different approaches. Y'all do a very good job of making sure that, hey, no matter what you endorse, you're going to get somebody that you love giving a premium show only for premium users every week. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. So I think that's also important too. So make sure that you all go. You can follow me on Rokfin. Consider endorsing the channel. All right, just Niko House. You can find with a K, not a C. Everybody. All right, Rokfin.com/Niko. The link is in the description. Thank you, Martin, for coming. We appreciate it, and thanks for the updates. Looks like everything is full steam ahead for Rokfin thus far.
K, not a C too.
There you go.
I like it. So yeah, no, I appreciate you, Niko. You're the man. I appreciate you guys you taking a chance and doing this, and I love that that you're here on the platform, and I'd love to talk to you anytime.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man, and thank you for just providing a place for for just content creators to be themselves, and like for me, we with our rapid growth, and then I literally have a YouTube and person who's working in the ads department tells me straight up that YouTube is about to target you and you're not going to make what you were making. To tell me that because I was growing, I was a problem. It was very, very refreshing and reassuring to know, like, whenever Rokfin came around, that you all were the real deal. Like, and for content creators who were trying to figure out, what if it's something that is claimed to be the real deal, but it is not the real deal, because we deal with that a lot too, just because a lot of people approach us. Like, Rokfin has been the real deal from the time I joined in the beginning. to right now. And I mean, I've seen it when it was bare bones. I also saw it whenever, you know, they, like I said, brought on Jimmy Dore, Kim Iverson, and a lot of these bigger names that a lot of people love to watch. So I appreciate it, and we've been growing steadily because of you guys, and hopefully vice versa. And I hope that we continue to see that type of growth. For everybody else, like this video, make sure you share this video, leave a comment below, and always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.